Good morning, everyone, and happy Father's Day in the United States. Today is React Day, which is awesome because we get to break up the gameplay of the week with a full day of me reacting to various different kinds of content. More laid back day. Today on the show, we're going to talk about how me being a variety streamer basically benefits a lot, and probably one of the major reasons why I've had the longevity that I've had. In addition, I'd like to talk about more suggestions for improvement, further discussion about things that we can change on these streams to make them better. So, an awesome Father's Day show here today. All this and more on the Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, everyone. So good morning and welcome. It is Sunday the 16th, of June 2024. I'm DSP and I welcome you here to our chill show. Happy Father's Day in the USA. I know that Father's Day is different days around the world, but in the United States, today is the day that we recognize our dads. And, later today, I'll be calling my dad, seeing what he's up to, wishing him a good day, and catching up. I actually call my parents about once a week to catch up. They live on the other side of the country. I hope that for you, if your dad's still alive and you're still talking, right? Give him a call. Say hello. Spend some time with him. Do something. Just say, hi, I appreciate you. I love you. You would be surprised how simply saying something like that can affect someone in a positive way and turn things around for them, especially if things are not going so well. And I'm absolutely sure that hopefully your dad would appreciate it. And if not, well, it is what it is, but at least you tried, right? Anyway, for me, it's Sunday. You know, I'm not a dad. I'm a cat dad, technically, but not a human dad. So it's just another day for me. A couple interesting things this morning that happened. Just nothing special, but I feel start the show with a little bit of small talk today. So, went downstairs to have our usual breakfast together, my wife and I and Jasper Kitty. And two things. First of all, we immediately notice our suet feeder, which we have on our back fence, and birds and squirrels come by every day and eat this suet block that we put out there, is gone. And we're like, now, I don't think someone would have come by and stolen a suet feeder out of our backyard. Number one, it's private property to even be in our community. So I don't think anyone would have committed a crime, and if they were going to do that, steal the suet feeder. I think they would have probably went for some high dollar value things, not that. So we're looking all around. We're like, where could it be? Well, guess where it is? It's on the other side of the fence, but there's a problem. It's hard to spatially really explain this unless you see it. We have a small enclosed fenced-in backyard. Our suet feeder is usually hanging on the back of that fence, towards the house facing, but that's where the squirrels and birds get at it and eat every day, and it's very nice. We get all kinds of beautiful birds that come by. Recently, we've been seeing some other awesome ones as well that we never seen before. One that's like yellow and black and stuff. Like, wow, this is amazing. We love it every single year. But the problem is, on the other side of the fence, there's only about, I'd say, maybe 2 feet, if that, of standing room, and then boom, there's a ditch. And that ditch goes down pretty sharply, and that is basically an irrigation ditch where when it rains, all of the water catches in that ditch so that basically the yards don't flood. And so, there's not a lot of maneuvering room, let's put it that way. So I'm looking, I'm like, oh crap, the suet feeder somehow got disconnected from our side of the fence, thrown over the fence, and is sitting perfectly right there in the middle of this like 1.5 to 2 feet of room before the ditch. And I'm like, well, thankfully it didn't go in the ditch, because if it went in the ditch, I wasn't going down into an irrigation ditch to get this thing that's like $2. I would just get another one. But I'm like, well, it's right there. Can I get it? And I'm thinking, well, I could jump the fence, but the problem is that 1 to 2 feet is like loose soil, and I don't know how like solid it is. If I go over there, there's a chance it might collapse and I fucking fall into this irrigation ditch and I get hurt, right? Which is not worth it for a $2 suet feeder. So let me think about this, like things I can do. Well, maybe I can go around, because this is a fenced in area. Behind that area is a dog walking park for all of our community. And I was thinking, oh, maybe there's a way in, because I never actually looked before. There must be a way in. I know that landscapers have been in there, and I'm like, there has to be a way in there easily for access. So tossed on my sneakers, ran outside, ran into the backyard, or not the backyard, the dog walking area, and I looked. I was like, there is absolutely no access to this thing. It is 100% fenced in. I'd say the fence is about 3-4 feet tall. It's a pretty, it went up to like maybe around here. So not ultra, like not super high fence, but pretty decently high. I'm like, man, I could jump it. But again, I don't know how solid that ground is. I'm nervous that it would, collapse and I get sucked into this irrigation ditch. So I'm like, so this is not going to work. There's like no access to this thing. How am I going to get this suet feeder? So I went back in the house and I was like, I got to brainstorm for a bit. And I said, if we just had an old style hanger, a wire hanger, I could just bend it and reshape it and we could just hook it right from over the fence. Shouldn't be a problem. So I started looking in the house and I realized we have like no old style hangers. They're all either the ones made of like the plastic with the felt on it with the tiny hook, or they kind of have like plastic, like no full wire hangers. I'm like, damn, this is something that used to be so common in homes back in the day. And it looks like for the most part, they've just been like phased out. You don't even think about it when you buy a clothes hanger anymore, that there's no more like full wire, right? Well, guess what? I finally found one. It was in our closet in the front of the house where we have all our jackets and stuff. And it was like on a jacket that I almost never wear in the corner. Oh, it is wire. Cool. So I bent the hanger. All you got to do, if you ever need to do this yourself, it's very simple. You just take the ends of the hanger and you go, Rih! So instead of it being a stretched out hanger, you just, and it becomes a tool, a very long hooking tool. And I just said, okay, this should work fine. Went over, zoop, got it. Hooked it, pulled it up, no problem. And this time around, I've now attached it lower down on the fence, not as close to the top as I did last time. Because what I'm thinking happened was probably a squirrel or one of these creatures, probably not a bird because the bird's not strong enough, but one of these creatures was probably trying to finish up the suet block in there and was like pulling it, and it just happened to dislodge and flip over the fence. So if I put it lower, even if they're pulling up and it dislodges, it'll just fall straight to the ground and stay on our side of the fence. So hopefully this will not happen again. And now I basically have a deformed hanger that I will use as a reaching tool around the house if I ever need one, in the future. So no big deal. But it was something a little creative I had to do this morning in order to solve a problem. Now, another cool thing that happened this morning, that's actually a good positive thing, is we are always looking to try to figure out healthier food, healthier meals, and things that we can do to, make ourselves in better shape. As I told you guys yesterday on a stream, I recently weighed myself. I was 203.4 pounds or something like that. That's not bad, but that's also not great. Like, my ideal weight is 185 pounds, but that's if I'm, like, fit and working out, which I'm not actively really doing that much right now. So I definitely have, 15 plus pounds of weight that I could take off. So one of the ways you could do that is try to eat healthier, right? And my wife and I have been talking about this recently. We really should cut a lot of dairy out of our diet if we can, because dairy is extra calories, extra fat that we really don't need. Getting older, you got to start to get to the healthier foods and things like that. So, my wife said that she wanted to start making us, healthier breakfast. Like, typically, for breakfast, I'd have one of two things. Either a bagel with some cream cheese, and usually I have, that veggie-style cream cheese that actually has vegetables in it. But, it is still dairy, but it's not super unhealthy dairy or anything like that. Or, I would have one of those microwave burritos. Now, probably that's not very good for you, but at the same time, it's very small. I only have one of them. Typically it's like bacon, egg, and cheese, or sausage, egg, and cheese with, a few other extra things tossed in there. I have the bagel more often than the burrito, but I do have the burrito every once in a while to mix it up. And I just have that with a black coffee, by the way. Nothing else, just a black coffee. So my wife said, what I would like to do is I would like to make healthier breakfasts for us, but something that I don't have to make every day. So why don't we take the idea of the breakfast burrito, right? But why don't I make our own homemade breakfast burritos that we can freeze, and then when we want them, we can microwave them and eat them just like those. I say, hey, you want to take a shot at it? Go for it, right? Sounds good to me. So we actually ended up getting a bunch of ingredients during our, grocery shopping trip back on our day off on Thursday. And yesterday, she did that. She basically made a batch of homemade burritos. So here's what they are. Listen to this, okay? Chicken sausage, way better than pork sausage for sure. Almost no, very low fat, low grease, still very flavorful. Scrambled eggs with some seasoning like salt, pepper, things like that in it. Pico de gallo, which is obviously diced tomatoes, diced onions, some cilantro, and some jalapeno, all mixed together. Diced variety of peppers, so like green, orange, red, bell peppers, all chopped up, and a creamy chipotle sauce. So out of everything I just described, the only thing in there that really would have much or any fat calories is probably the sauce. But it's not like we're going, oh, here we go, and put the whole bottle on the burrito. It's like, you put a little bit in there for extra flavor. All right. So basically, she cooked all that up the other day in a batch, and we got regular sized burrito tortillas from the grocery store. And by the way, I'm curious about this. When you get a burrito at like a restaurant, like if you go to a Mexican restaurant right now, or like we have a place down the street, it's called Alberto's Jr., and they make these awesome, huge burritos. I swear their burrito wraps are huge, right? Compared to what you buy at the store. Because how am I eating a burrito that's like insanely large and stuffed with the same size burrito wrap that you buy at the store that's only like this big? Like, how could you make a burrito that size? I get the feeling that Mexican restaurants like bulk buy in gross these like giant wraps from like a wholesaler, and you just can't get them at a regular grocery store. They don't have them that big. That's what I think anyway. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So using a regular size tortilla wrap, just make a burrito. So the burrito is not huge, but it's bigger than the microwave. The microwave burrito I would have is usually about that big. These were probably about this big, so a little bit larger. So all we did, they're frozen. We wrapped them individually in like tin foil, or not tin foil, aluminum foil, and put them in our freezer. And now each day when we want one, we just take it out, you toss it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and we eat it. So this is the first time I was having one. She had one yesterday and told me, oh, it's amazing. You got to have one this morning. So I toss it in there, and immediately it smells great. I'm like, oh, this is a good sign. I take a bite. This thing is absolutely bursting with flavor. I was like, whoa. Like, that is crazy amount of flavor in this burrito. And by the way, there's no dairy in this, right? Like I said, maybe a little bit of the chipotle sauce has it, but no cheese or anything in there. And I'm like, dude, this is like incredibly good. I can't believe how tasty this is. You can taste everything, like, big chunks of tomato. You're getting a little bit of crunchiness of the peppers. And the sausage tastes outstanding. And this is chicken sausage, not pork sausage. So I'm eating, I cannot believe the amount of flavor in this thing. And the good news is, because there's no cheese in it, it's not really messy. It did leak a little bit because there's like juice from the vegetables, but I'd much rather have a little bit of watery juice coming out than a bunch of gooey cheese getting everywhere, right? So I'm eating it and I'm like, wow, this is like incredibly good, right? Like, I'm like, if I could never eat a frozen burrito again that I buy from the store, I would eat the fresh burrito every morning. The thing is, how many are you going to make in a batch? I think she had made a batch. She made like 6. And of course, between the two of us, that means it's only going to last a few days, So probably what we'll do, I'll start alternating, and I'll have like maybe a bagel one day and one of these burritos the next day. But dude, that was so effing good. And that's homemade. That's incredibly healthy for you. And it's like, what a great way to start the day, as opposed to what, people who just eat like microwave cheese and shit like that. All that stuff that you see at the store, they have those sandwiches. Oh, have a sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich on a fucking, on a croissant roll, or on a egg or English muffin. That shit is horrible for you. It really is. Like, you got to read all the stats on it. It's like incredibly high in sodium, incredibly high in fat, and they're saying, oh, this is good for breakfast. You're literally loading your body with grease and shit first thing in the morning. And I used to eat that stuff all the time too. That's, when I was at my heaviest, that was my breakfast. Wake up, shove one of those in the microwave, or I would go to the local Duchess restaurant in Connecticut, and I would buy a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich and eat it on the way to work. And that's why I got so fat, you know? So, like, damn, this might actually help a lot. You know, having a healthier breakfast, you know, every other day or whatever. So I strongly recommend it. And those are simple ingredients. You can easily get chicken sausage, pico de gallo, or just like diced tomatoes. If you can't access the pico, just get some diced tomatoes, some peppers, right? And this chipotle sauce or whatever, which is, you know, just to get some kind of a sauce that has like a Mexican taste to it. And dude, it's so easy. So easy to make, so easy to do. Just don't even fall for the trap of buying the pre-made stuff. It's, you know, yeah, it's easy, but at the same time, if you spend like an hour a week making a batch of these, and you have a healthy breakfast every day, crazy good. Excuse me. All right. So I'm done talking about my random stories for today. Let's quickly talk about yesterday. Yesterday was a very chill day. And as I was saying during the opening of today's show, boy, oh boy, am I glad that I am a variety content creator. What I mean by that is I don't section myself off to being known for only making one particular style of content, right? I'm very, very, very happy about that. Because if I was only a fighting game streamer, or I was only an FPS guy, or I was only an RPG guy, or a Dark Souls guy, right? Honestly, I would have such a bad time in playing one style of game. And I would get so burnt out, and I would get so frustrated, and I would probably hate my life. Being honest. You know, I'm glad that way back when I started on YouTube, long time ago, I had that foresight to say, you know, I could be a specialist. I had the opportunity to do it with the burgeoning popularity of Street Fighter 4. I said, oh, I could do this. I could get into competitive fighting games and be known for it on YouTube and all of that. But I decided to do something different. I decided to say, no, I'm going to branch out and diversify, and I'm going to do a lot of stuff. They say the jack of all trades, but the master of none. Because I have done that, I have had longevity. Here I am 16 years later. I'm still playing a wide variety of stuff. I'm still having a great time every day, and I'm not feeling burnout, okay? Case in point, recently I'm trying to get into Street Fighter 6 at a higher level than I've ever played it before because I found a way to eliminate my input lag, to eliminate the issues I was having with the online play, right? But I'm finding as I play at this master level without those issues that it's a challenging and arduous task. I'm not investing as much time and effort into it as others who are playing Street Fighter competitively. So because of that, I'm kind of like playing catch up, and it's very difficult, especially with the character selection that I use. My main characters are not exactly the best in the game. So it's tough, okay? So this week, you know, trying to play with characters such as Dalsim and Lily has been very frustrating. And I get really agitated. My adrenaline gets pumping. You know, stress levels are up. Blood pressure's up when I play this game, which is fine. It's competitive. But at the same time, I find myself sometimes just having a bad time. Like, I played with Lily the other night. I legit, at the end of the night, was, like, upset. I was like, man, I feel like I just wasted my night. I didn't make any progress. I don't feel like I learned real much of anything. And it just seems like a losing battle with this character. But then yesterday, right? Guess what? I didn't have to play Street Fighter. I didn't have to think about the stress of any of that, right? Instead, I got to play two very chill games. Now, here's the thing about me being a variety creator. There are times when I play something and it will get a lot of attention. There are also times when I will play something and it will only matter to my very core audience and no one else will give a crap, right? It's true. So, for example, if I play Soulsborne games or Souls-likes, typically that's going to get good attention, right? Take a look at Another Crab's Treasure, Lies of P, Elden Ring, all those things that I've done recently. Typically, those streams get great attendance. They get good support. Viewership is decent, right? Even on the on-demand videos. That's because they're ultra difficult games and people enjoy seeing me suffer but then overcome. Okay? Typically, if I'm playing something competitively, whether that be a Street Fighter game or another fighting game, whether that be a first-person shooter like Call of Duty, all that kind of stuff. Online multiplayer, typically, that gets good attention and good, people excited for it. Not always. For example, when I tried playing multiverses, no one cared. But generally, those games, right, will get people excited. Okay? And of course, anytime there's a large-scale AAA release, notably if it's like a horror game, but other AAA games as well, to see me jump in and see my opinion on a big release that everyone is playing, that also gets people excited. Usually, generally, you'll see more people on stream, more people watching the videos on demand, more engagement, meaning more likes on the videos, more likes on the streams, more comments on the videos, more people just excited to engage, correct? Now, when I do chill gameplay, right, an ongoing playthrough where essentially it's meant to kind of be more relaxing, there isn't that level of skill required to really excel in the game. A lot of the times these chill streams are straight up called chill streams, meaning, hey, come by and hang out with me. We'll have conversation that's not even necessarily related to the game, and that's fine because that's the whole point. It's more of like a hangout session. Typically, those games will get less support, less engagement is what I meant to say. Less engagement, meaning less people coming by, watching, and or liking, etc. But when it comes to the people who do attend that content, it's usually a core audience of people who really like me for me. Rather than coming for the game, you're coming to hang out with me, correct? And because of that, those streams actually get pretty decent support, and they do well for just a good vibe on this channel, right? And I wonder how many content creators out there kind of get themselves pigeonholed into a certain style of stuff, and they get that rhythm going, which is fine, but then everything kind of feels samey, right? Like, for example, the vibe when you're on my stream playing Street Fighter 6 versus the vibe when I last night was playing Stardew Valley, you would think it's two completely different people streaming. And I know that. That is a completely different vibe. And one, I'm ultra serious, hyper-focused on the game. I'm reveling in my wins. I'm getting very upset at my losses, and it's just like tense, but it's exciting if you like competition, correct? Last night, me playing Stardew Valley, it's like, wow, we're laid back, we're relaxed. There is no pressure, right? At all to really worry about major progress, but I'm chilling, I'm gelling with the audience. I'm like, hey, what are some suggestions of what I should be doing right now, right? Should I be farming? Should I be fishing? Should I go buy something? Should I try to gift stuff to townspeople? What should I do? And people are all throwing out their different opinions, and I'm trying different things. And I'm like, this is great. Now, again, here's the thing. Last night, we didn't have many people on the stream when it comes to, like, comparison to normal streams. I think the highest I had yesterday was, like, 270 people, and the lowest was, like, 150. Like, I mean, that's low for any stream, correct? But that audience that was there was very engaged. They loved the stream. They were hanging out, having a great time. And if you can believe it, it was super well supported for a stream. And I'm like, it's weird because you would think, oh, it's generally those games that will bring more people to watch that would be the most successful. And in reality, that's not always the case. It's kind of the opposite sometimes, right? Like, sometimes I'm playing Street Fighter and there's almost no support. And it's like, well, I don't get it. We have a lot of viewers here. It's because people are there for various different reasons, right? Just because someone is there to watch doesn't necessarily mean they have the best of intentions watching, you know? And this is something that I've noticed generally on my content in the last year. Around middle of last year, 2023, all of a sudden my viewership on DSPGaming tanked. Out of nowhere. Inexplicably. You can look at the chart and you can see all of a sudden it goes zoop like this. You're like, what the fuck happened? Why all of a sudden would I have lost a large chunk of viewership out of nowhere? But here's the very weird thing about that, okay? I haven't lost any income as a result. Like, my ad revenue remains the same, right? The amount of super chats, memberships, all of that, pretty much the same. Tips remain the same. So what that tells me is that probably, once again, something changed with the YouTube algorithm about a year ago that kicked a lot of my content out of it. But likely, it's the legacy content stuff, but it also probably is some of the new stuff too, where for some reason my stuff just doesn't show up in YouTube search or doesn't get recommended or whatever it may be. So I don't get those outside eyes on my content anymore. But the weird part about that is How did I not lose any revenue whatsoever? Right? Because you would panic if you saw something like that. You'd be like, oh my God, the sky is falling. But I didn't say anything about it publicly because I was looking at all my stats and I was like, they're not affected. You know, as a gamer, and this is being my hobby, I still had people coming by every day and hanging out with me and having a good time. There's nothing wrong there. And on a business side, I was still making the money that I was making and nothing changed. So I was like scratching my head. How could this be possible? And all that tells me is that YouTube has this like installed viewer base of people who maybe just casually watch it, but they probably got things like ad block on, right? Or it could be malicious viewers coming just to be stupid and they never would contribute or support at all. They're just there to make fun. And at some point they just realized, you know, watching my stuff raw or whatever wasn't fun to them. They probably went off to watch detractor shit or something. Who knows, right? But it was so weird to me that that happened. And now, because I used to always get like 1,000 views on every video I uploaded, and now some videos get like only 300 views. But I'm making the same amount of money. How the fuck does that make any sense? But is it cause for alarm? No. But again, I really think that I'm in a unique situation to other YouTubers. I really do. Like, I feel like I'm in a situation where somehow I've been around for so long and I have dedicated viewers and followers and supporters. I don't have to really worry about that kind of fluctuation. It doesn't really have problems, you know, cause problems for me. But anyway, getting back to the point of yesterday, my God, yesterday was such a great streaming day. And here's the funny part. Views were lower on both streams. There were less viewers overall on both streams yesterday. The videos that I've uploaded from yesterday, they don't have a lot of views right now. At all, actually. All right? But I'm looking, I'm like, both streams were chill fun. Both streams had good support. You know, why do I care? And that's a mentality that I feel like most YouTubers don't have. Most YouTubers are always about every day they got to pack as many butts in seats, get as many views as possible, get as much engagement as possible. Like, this, they're so worried about that shit every day. And I used to be like that too. But now, I'm kind of happy that I don't have to be worrying about that shit anymore. I can just be more laid back and relaxed, and as long as we're all having a good time together, I'm having a good one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not really concerned. That's a good thing. That makes me feel better. I was so stressed out over those last few days playing Street Fighter, and I disconnected from Street Fighter for a day to do different stuff. It got less attention, but ended up being very successful. And I came back today feeling refreshed, feeling relaxed, feeling like, you know, everything is kind of, you know, much better. And I'm not like at my wit's end. I don't have to sit here ranting about Street Fighter 6 this morning. Right. So I'm very happy with that. All right. And thank you to those of you who come by and hang out with me, no matter what I'm playing. I'm not saying I'm angry with people who only come by for certain kinds of games. Not at all. Couldn't be further from the truth. I'm happy that I have various audiences that come by to check out certain kinds of content. So, for example, you know, there's some people that may just come by and watch Street Fighter. There may be people who just come by and watch Fallout. Maybe there's someone who just comes by and watches this and listens to this podcast. I just had someone this morning. He says, yeah, every day on my way to work, I listen to your podcast live. It's a great way to, you know, enjoy the ride to work. And that's cool. I'm happy about that people are enjoying those different aspects of my content. But the only reason that's successful is because I made myself a variety creator rather than focused on one little thing that became my specialty. I'm not a guru in anything, but certainly there are people who like me for various different things, and that's why I have the longevity that I've had. So I'm happy for that. And, you know, yesterday was a testament to that. After having an incredibly stressful night of playing Street Fighter, that I could completely change to a different tone, a different speed the next day, slow things down, relax, have a great day overall, and then, you know, push forward and say, hey, we'll be back to that stressful stuff later, and that's cool. There's a place and time for it, but now I can do different stuff, right? You know, today, again, it's going to be such a different day, right? Yesterday, just FYI to summarize what we did, in Fallout 4, we finished Far Harbor. And let me tell you guys something. We skipped those really crappy, stupid puzzles that are in Far Harbor that are so out of place. The ones where you have to go into a virtual world and have lasers shooting and bugs are crawling and there's blocks everywhere. It's incredibly dumb. It's like mind-numbingly stupid that it's in there because it has nothing to do with Fallout. You could tell it was just kind of a pet project of one of the game devs that wanted to wedge it in there or something. And it usually takes about an hour to do, and it's a really painful hour of crap, right? We skipped it. We put a mod in that said, skip that shit. So we did. And then instead we focused on all the fun stuff of Far Harbor, and I ended up finishing the DLC and actually having a completely different completely different outcome from than when I originally did this back in the day when it was a new DLC. And it was very fun to do, and the audience loved it. So that was great. And then last night in Stardew Valley, dude, we learned so much. I basically leveled up my farming a bunch. I did a bunch of fishing and learned the ins and outs of how to fish in this game, where to fish, the best times to fish, and things like that. I met the wizard, which is cool because it's his own side plot line that you can follow. I upgraded a bunch of stuff. Now I'm going to have the ability to have sprinklers, so I actually don't have to manually water plants and stuff, which is great. I met everyone in the town for the first time. Actually participated in an Easter egg hunt. So it's supposed to be like an Easter event. They don't call it Easter probably because they don't want to be offensive, because Easter is technically a religious holiday. So they say it's like the spring egg festival and stuff like that. But we did that, and it was just really good. It was a very fun session. I learned a lot. I can't wait to play it again on Tuesday night, because I'm actually really enjoying having a great time with everyone, hanging out, talking, but also learning the ins and outs of this game while we play it. It's very, very fun. So, outstanding day yesterday. Today, it's React Day, meaning today there is no gameplay. Today we're going to be reacting to stuff all over the place. First of all, after this podcast ends, we're going to head over to DSP Reacts, and on that channel, it's time for DSP versus the Internet, my weekly clip show. Luckily, it's on the right day this week. Remember, last week it got bumped to Monday because we had to react to the live Xbox event. Well, those are all done now, and we can get back into the normal schedule. So, clip show today. Good variety of clips. I've seen the clips. There are good variety of stuff today reacting to. I'm excited to jump into them and see what it's all about. So that should be a fun one. And then tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time over on DSP Throwback, my other channel, we're going to be continuing the reacting to Rise of Nightmares, the Xbox 360 Kinect game that was pushed heavily by Microsoft. Oh, this is the big horror game you're going to want. This is going to be one of the reasons to buy the Kinect. It's going to change games because horror with motion controls. It is atrociously bad. It's super bad. All right? So I'm having so much fun reacting to it because we're laughing at how bad the controls are, how John and I are being tortured trying to continue to beat this game. Keep in mind, back then, we would beat a game like that in one day, one session. We would commit to just sitting there and playing it till it was done. And so tonight over on that channel, we're going to continue. I think last time we got through like 11 parts. Tonight we'll probably get through like another 10, 11 parts. That sets us up for the finale next week with only like maybe an hour left. And then, since Elden Ring's DLC is this coming Friday, next week we're going to resume with the Dark Souls Retro React. So that's going to be super fun. All right? So that's a great lineup of stuff for today. I hope you guys will join me on DSP React right after this podcast, or over on the Throwback channel late tonight for the Retro React. That should be fun. Tomorrow, we're back to regular gameplay. Fallout 4 and Street Fighter 6. Tomorrow night, I'm going to try to play with Zangief. So I'll probably watch some Zangief footage tonight to try to get myself, maybe learn some new techniques and things that I can apply during tomorrow night's ranked Street Fighter stream. Then on Tuesday, new game release. It is still Wakes the Deep. The new game where you're going to an oil rig offshore, and the oil rig has been overrun by something. You don't know if it's creatures, monsters, demons, but apparently everyone's dead. You're trying to figure out what happened. Kind of a unique horror experience. People are saying it's 6 to 8 hours long. So I'll play it as the first stream on Tuesday. Tuesday night will be more Stardew Valley. And then Wednesday, more Still Wakes the Deep. And either more Street Fighter 6 or another stream of Stardew Valley. What I'd like to really do is see how people are liking everything. If there's more demand for Street Fighter 6, then maybe we'll do another one of that. If there's more demand for Stardew, then we'll do that. So we'll see over the course of the week what happens, and I'll make my decision by the end of Tuesday night what we want to do on Wednesday. Okay? Thursday, I'm off. Friday, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree all day long. Literally, the entire day will be Shadow of the Erdtree fun. I'm excited for that. I can't wait for this DLC. Everyone, it seems to be super pumped. It's like the big thing of the year. Like, literally, it's the big thing of the year. It's the biggest thing of all year released. I'm not even kidding. Like, I wish that was an exaggeration, but it really isn't. And I can't believe that a DLC for a FromSoft game is literally the big release this year so far. Like, it has eclipsed and is overshadowing every other game that has come out this year. That's how exciting it is. I can't wait to play it. As you know, my first time runs through FromSoft games are incredibly fun because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and usually I die a zillion times. I've already committed to the fact that I will try to find some weapons that are new that I'm enjoying or look really unique, and I want to respec to try those weapons. So that should be pretty fun. And I'm doing that all day Friday, both streams. Saturday is the day stream, and then probably Saturday night we'll do Street Fighter. And then Sunday is React Day, so no gameplay Sunday. Then probably Monday, again, Elden Ring will be the day stream. Maybe Monday night I'll do like Stardew Valley. And then we'll go from there. Okay, keep in mind that Wednesday, yes, I'm not kidding, a week from this coming Wednesday, there's another new thing coming out. It is M. Bison releasing in Street Fighter 6. And yes, I will be covering M. Bison, likely playing him all day long on that day. So we've got Still Wakes the Deep, Shadows of the Erdtree DLC, and M. Bison within 1 week's time. That's a crazy week of new stuff that's going to be going on around here. So I hope that you guys are excited, okay? All right, good stuff. Okay, so what I think we should do next, since we have some time, but it might be a little difficult, I actually wanted to see if I could jump back into the suggestion box for the first time in ages. The problem being, if you guys remember recently, I've been telling you guys about some frustrations that I'm having with YouTube forcing me, Windows forcing me to update my Windows on my PC, which forces a restart. When it does that, I literally lose my place in the suggestion box. So now I have absolutely no idea where I am in the suggestion box. Okay, I know I'm looking at the suggestion box now. I know we did that one. I know we did that one. I know we did that one. We did that one. Let's see. I'm trying to find the place where we left off. We did that one too. Okay, I think this is about where we need to pick up right here. Okay. Okay, I think we're there. Sorry, because like I said, with Windows forcing restarts, I lose my spot. So I think we're around here. Okay. Excuse me. All right, so someone asked, I'm going to summarize some of these. Can I have more variety in online game streams besides Friday Night Fights? Because it's not saying that people are sick of fighting game streams, but we like to see other kinds of multiplayer. The thing is, I'm not really into multiplayer that much unless it's a game that I really like that genre. So, for example, Call of Duty, every year I play it, I get a good amount of content out of it. I get burnt out on it, don't care about it anymore, and I drop it, right? But I like it every year. It's like a staple that I do. It's a good thing to do to break up the fall and to have different kinds of multiplayer. Fighting games, absolutely correct. Street Fighter, Tekken, stuff like that. That's the kind of multiplayer I'm into. Now, I understand what you're saying. There's tons of multiplayer games out there. But you have to understand that I have to kind of have an affinity for what I'm doing or a desire to play it. A lot of people love multiplayer sports games. I don't like sports games. I just don't really enjoy them because I don't really like sports. I don't care about American football, basketball, baseball, football. I always say football, F-U-T-B-O-L. Football. I just don't, I'm not into sports. So for me to play a sports game when I'm not even really liking the sport, it doesn't really work, If you have suggestions for other games, then throw them at me. So for example, this person says, there are other genres with online multiplayer modes. Racing games, and we all know I don't like racing games. Probably the only racing game that I'd be interested in would be like Mario Kart. If only they would make a new Mario Kart. I'm serious. I would play a new Mario Kart for a bit. They haven't made one in 100 years. They just keep fucking releasing the same one for the last decade. I'm not spending money on the same game like a second or third time. I already had it on the Wii U. I'm not buying it again. But outside of that, I don't really like racing that much. So again, I'm not going to get into a racing game just like I'm not going to get into a sports game, right? Party games. Party games are for people who team up with other people and go into parties online. I can't do that because of my trolls who try to ruin everything for everyone. So that sadly is out of the case. So here's the thing. I agree with you. I like multiplayer games of certain genres. The fact is, when you really think about it, has there really been that much variety in multiplayer recently? Not really. Like, for example, they all fit into categories. First-person shooters, and there's two categories, either like the regular team-based competitive multiplayer games like Call of Duty, or the team-based small team battle royale survival games like Apex Legends, right? Outside of that, they're pretty much all the same. It doesn't matter if I'm playing Call of Duty, X Defiant, whatever. They're all the same fucking thing. Doesn't really matter, right? So I played Call of Duty. That's my FPS game for the year, right? Fighting games. Well, we already know about that. I covered those, right? Well, what about, you know, like Helldivers 2? Well, I did play Helldivers 2 for about a month. I got bored. There's really nothing to do in the game. You get to a point where you hit a certain level. It's kind of repetitive and boring. And I gave it a shot. I did enjoy it for when I played it. We all got bored of it. When they have new content and or people tell me, hey, go back because something interesting's happening, I will. But right now, I just don't see the point when there's really, it's the same thing over and over, right? Okay. But if ever they do bring back variety multiplayer, remember back in the day, they used to have things such as Assassin's Creed having multiplayer, and it was like a unique assassination mode, or Last of Us having a full sneak survival team-based mode, or, you know what I mean? I think the problem is there just aren't enough games doing unique multiplayer. They all just fit into these categories of exactly the samey shit, and that's why I'm not really too interested in playing too much of it. If ever they do change that kind of stuff and do more innovative stuff, I'd be all over it. They just don't do that. These game developers don't think outside the box or try to do anything new or different. Instead, it's kind of the same shit. Now, I will say this. I have a mini PC. It's functional. I could play more indie games. If you guys are aware of unique and interesting multiplayer indie games that you think would be good for me to check out, I can do that. All right? I now have the ability to do that, right? So please share with me that knowledge, because I don't know what kind of games you guys would be looking for me to play that are outside of that normal radar that I have, right? So there you go. Okay. Yes, Assassin's Creed multiplayer started with Assassin's Creed 2, and it carried over into various different games after that. I just watched an episode of DSP versus the Internet. You took a mental age quiz. I found it pretty fun to play along and compare my results with yours. I'm sure the live chat played along during the stream and had fun too. Quiz videos like that could be a great submission theme one week. It would make the show that much more interactive and fun, especially if members submit videos of different types of quizzes. So here's the thing. I like that idea, but an entire week of quizzes would not work. If you get like one or two a week and we do different quizzes at different times during the show, that's great. But if I said, all right, guys, it's quiz week. Everyone submit quizzes. The show is going to be too repetitive, right? Too much of the same. I think the one of the aspects of DSP versus the Internet that works best is that you never know what you're going to see. And you could get a video about a cartoon, a documentary about, I don't know, fast food, right? And then you could get a travel video about somewhere in the world you don't even know about. Then you could get a comedy skit. And it's good to jump around and have that kind of variety. That's what I like about the show. It keeps it interesting. If we had themed weeks where every clip was submitted around the same theme, it's going to get kind of boring. Like even during the holidays, if you remember. During Halloween month, I said, hey, it's October, submit horror. And we had a lot of horror and it worked, but at the same time, we also had other things to off-balance and off-put all that horror. During Christmas, we had a bunch of Christmas-themed videos, and that was super fun. But we also had other things to off-put that too, because I didn't have a strict criteria. So I think I can make suggestions, but I think that's the best I can do is to suggest, hey, this week, please submit clips of this style because, hey, it's pertinent to this or this. For example, today, I think we have at least one or two clips that are Father's Day related, which is nice because it's Father's Day in the USA. Okay. So listen to this. Now, keep in mind, this comment was over 2 months ago. All right? Fair enough. It was over 2 months ago. Let's see what they had to say because things obviously have continued since the 2 months ago, but let's see what they had to say over 2 months ago. After last night when you did the react to Bully, so they're talking about I did a retro react stream to my original Bully playthrough from 2013 over on my DSP Throwback channel. It was only one stream, lasted about 2 hours. Admittedly, it started off fun, but about an hour in, it got boring. And by the end, I determined it was not a good game to continue to do the react to, so we didn't continue it. It's just the one night, that was it. In my honest opinion, as a fan of your newer content, I think that you should drop retro react stuff. It's not cringy as I hoped. It's uncomfortable to watch, even if it is older commentary from you. and it serves for trolls to get more stuff to use against you. I don't mean this in a negative way to say your content is bad, but this is a way to tell me that old fill is a problem for new fill. I will say this. Having been doing the Retro React stuff now since, what, January, February we started? And I do it almost every week. I mean, I do it weekly now. At first I wasn't doing it. Now we're doing it weekly, correct? The old commentary style that I used to do was completely uncontrolled, right? Completely 100% uncontrolled, right? It was me essentially saying whatever I wanted, doing whatever I could to try to get a rise out of my audience, whether good or bad, right? There was racial stuff, there was sexual stuff, there was very, very insensitive stuff that was said in that commentary. At the time, people didn't find it offensive. They found it funny. They thought that Phil is always joking, which is true. That shit is not serious. Do you really think that constantly I'm a kind of guy that walks around saying sexual things to people around me, commenting on race and shit? No, of course not. That was just things that were completely over-exaggerated for the old style of commentary, okay? Today, you find stuff incredibly inappropriate. Back then, absolutely no one found it inappropriate. They just found it, like, some people found it cringy and criticized it, and some people found it funny, but no one was saying it's so awfully cancel culture or get them out of here shit, right? Okay. So, going back and watching my stuff in the frame of reference of today, it's very cringeworthy. Yeah, I'm playing a game about a bunch of kids at a boarding school, and I'm making stupid sexualized comments sometimes. And it's like, what am I doing that for? I'm an adult making sexualized comments about younger kids. Like, that's fucking gross, right? And I get that now, but again, back then, that's literally all I did. That was my commentary, right? Now, here's the thing. You're like, so basically, I should not do retro reacts ever again because it's exposing old Phil and making him a problem for new Phil. Well, I have something to tell you, okay? This may be a shocking twist. These videos have been live for like 10 to 15 years, all right? These videos didn't just materialize randomly yesterday. They're live, right? These are not, you know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. If you run from your past and essentially deny it, that is far worse than saying, I acknowledge it happened. Today, I'm a better person. I'm a smarter person. I'm a wiser person. I know that that stuff isn't right to do anymore, and I won't do it anymore. And then actually adhering to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, to say, oh, the past doesn't exist. Let me shut down all my old playthroughs, private them all, say that that Phil isn't me, but then no one can ever watch them or reference them. That's far worse than just saying, my God, here it is. Let's cringe at it together, admit it's wrong, and move on. Right? So that's the thing. Why was the bully playthrough so much fun in 2013 and everyone loved it, but now we watch it in 2024 and we're bored within an hour? Because times have changed. Back then, people loved that shit. Today, almost no one loves that shit. See the difference? So, but we acknowledge it and we move on rather than saying, oh, this didn't happen. This is, you know, no, you don't do that. So, no, I mean, I understand what you're saying. In this particular case with the bully playthrough, I admit, it's actually probably one of the ones that's not very, very stomachable today, right? It actually like, oh, why is he doing this dumb fucking commentary? It's terrible, right? So then we move on and we go to another one. We go watch The Walking Dead instead. We go watch a fun co-op playthrough of the Olympics. We go watch Rise of Nightmares. And now it's funny again, right? But you don't hide from your past. You don't pretend like it never happened. You don't erase it. A lot of people do, I want to erase all the things that I did back in the day, right? No, you don't do that, okay? There you go. Someone wrote an insanely huge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraph post, and essentially all they said in it was, hey, when you do your recap segment of your podcast, you're basically hurting your views on your videos from the day before because you're telling people what you did in them and they won't check them out. I think it's the opposite. I don't think that every single person who watches my content has time to watch every piece of content. And perhaps you're someone who comes by and hangs out and watches me play one game and that's it because that's all you have time for. Or maybe you're someone who every once in a while just has time to come check out the podcast because that's all you have time for daily. But what if you're not aware what's going on with my other videos and you watch the podcast, you're like, oh, wait a minute. So you did that yesterday? Ooh, that piques my interest. I'm going to go check that out now because you told me about it, right? That's the purpose of me recapping on the podcast. And also, it gives me a good opportunity to kind of summarize and give my thoughts that maybe I couldn't concisely give during a 2 to 3 hour stream. Instead, in a 2-3 minute segment of the show, I can tell you, hey, here's what happened. Here's my overall thoughts. It's a good way to do it, right? I really don't think there's someone who comes to my podcasts, listens to the recap segments of what I did the day before and says, wow, that was great. I'm so glad that Phil did that yesterday and told me all about it. So now I don't have to watch any of the videos. I don't think that. And then, of course, I mean, you can say the same thing with the daily wrap, but people said they really appreciate the daily wrap because then they know the content that's in the videos and they can go check it out. What you don't understand is this. The overall amount of people checking out each individual video isn't a big deal on YouTube. It's actually engagement. What that means is when you watch the video, you're watching it for a lengthy period of time for the point where it counts as a view, an engagement view. And the fact that you're watching for that amount of time, it counts as ad revenue for an ad on the video. Maybe you like the video, leave a comment. That's the important shit, okay? Let's say I didn't do a daily wrap, all right? So no one knows what content I put out today. And you go to my channel and you see a bunch of videos and you literally click on a video, you watch it for 10 seconds, and I'm not interested. You close it. That doesn't help me at all. It doesn't count as a view. It doesn't give me ad revenue. It does nothing, all right? It's just artificial. If you go to the daily wrap and you literally watch the entirety of the daily wrap to find out what I did today, and if you say, I'm not interested in those videos, I got a view on the daily wrap. It counted. You see the difference? I'd rather have people engaged in the content because they're genuinely interested in it and they watch it for a while, rather than, well, I don't know what Phil did today, so I'm just going to click around randomly on all his videos for 5 seconds each till I find something I like, and if there's nothing there in the first 5 seconds, I go away. It's by doing it the way I'm doing it, it's creating more meaningful engagement. That's why I do it that way. You see? The daily wrap, the recaps on the podcast create the engagement that then may bring people meaningfully over to the other content. Literally just getting people clicking on each video for 2 seconds does nothing for the channel. So, I mean, you don't know if you knew that, but yeah, YouTube works in a weird way. A view is not just a view on YouTube. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. The way they do stuff is very odd with their algorithms, okay? Okay. This is one talking about migrating my PC over, which we've already talked about. But for those who don't know, because I actually talked about this last night on the Stardew Valley stream. So here's the deal, because this is actually a news update for everybody, okay? So here's the deal. My PC is now 10 years old officially. This PC right here, I think I bought it in June, July of 2014, okay? There's a lot of things that are starting to go wrong with it. One of the hard drives has a bad sector. I don't know where it is, but frequently I get a corrupted video, and then I get another corrupted video the next day, and I get another corrupted video the next day. Then all of a sudden it goes away. But it's frustrating that every month or so I ended up with like a few days stretch of corrupted videos, okay? Half the fans on the PC case are dying. They've now reached their age limit of 10 years, right? So all this means is that gradually more and more is going to continue to go wrong with this PC now that it's reached this 10-year age limit, correct? So that being said, I know it's time to upgrade. It's time that I kind of stop using this PC and I got to do something else, correct? However, in the last few years, I kept trying to get to a point where I could get a new PC, and I just keep hitting roadblocks. First of all, 2 years ago, we sat down and we created a list of components, right, that I should get and build a PC out of. And when we totaled it up, it was around $2,000 or more. And some people even suggested get the higher end stuff to future-proof. But what's happened is in the last couple of years, the prices on components go like this. Sometimes they're high, sometimes they're low, sometimes they're high, sometimes they're low. So it's not even sure when to buy. I think at one point someone said I could have got the same PC for like $1,300. And now the prices are skyrocketing again, apparently. So I can't really do much about that. That's just the weird market for PC components at this point, okay? So now, right, I'm in a situation, the last 2 years, I keep looking for opportunities when maybe I could do it. And there's been a couple opportunities. Last year was just absolutely fucking ridiculous for me, okay? Last year, within a few months span, just so everyone knows, I had some things going on behind the scenes, like health issues and other things that cost me a lot of money. You guys don't know about them. It's none of your business. It's not something that's publicly going to be disclosed. But I had things that cost me a lot of money out of nowhere, unexpected. It sucks, but it's life, right? Then My tire got stolen off of my car. That, no lie, cost me around $600+ because it was not just the tire, but the whole wheel assembly I had to replace. I had to replace it in a quick time frame because my wife had to get to work and stuff. So it was a fucking stupid nightmare, right? Then my waste disposal in my sink broke. And I need that because we don't have a lot of trash removal here. I need that every day to get rid of food waste and stuff. So I had to dump a lot of money on that. So essentially, I'm not even kidding you. Within like a 6-month time frame, when I looked like I was going to have money, I dropped thousands of dollars on unexpected shit that I had no idea was going to happen. Okay? At this point, I'm sorry, but I'm tired of like thinking that I'm going to get into a lucky streak where things aren't going to go bad. It seems like no matter what, this keeps happening. It's now been years that I've been waiting to say, I'm going to get a new PC. I'm going to get a new PC. And I just can't do it. Now, some people have suggested, hey, why don't I do a fundraiser? Why don't I do a special marathon event? The whole idea is to raise money to buy a new PC. I could very well do that. And I'll even tell you as much right now. I genuinely feel 100% that if I did that, that my viewers and supporters would come out and force and support it. I believe that because you guys are amazing. You guys are so supportive and helpful every time like this. You guys help so much. I guarantee you guys would do that for me. I know that. But I also know you guys aren't rich, you know? So what would end up happening, at least I feel, is this. I would do the marathon. People would support it. I would get enough money for a PC. And then here's what would happen. The entire next month, all of my streams would be slow and low on income because you guys basically became generous to support the PC fund. You see? So that's the deal. Like, I feel like I've already, you know, what do they say? You can't get blood out of a rock or something like that. There's a saying like that, right? And I feel like that's what it is. Like, basically, if I keep the path I'm going, right? I can't ask you guys for any more, but I keep getting into situations where I've been waiting. Okay, maybe now I'll save up and have enough. Maybe now I'll save up and have enough. And then all that money keeps having to go to other shit that comes out of nowhere. All right? So right now, I've come to the point where I don't think I can really wait much longer. As I said, this PC is starting to have daily issues. It now has a fan. So on my processor, there's a giant heatsink and 2 fans. One of the fans died. The other fan is so fucking loud that if I don't have my air conditioner on, I just hear it all day. I'm like, what the fuck? So obviously we're at a point where it's at its ends here, right? So here's what we're gonna do. I've decided. I sat down. I talked with my wife about it. Basically, over this summer, when there's a big dead time, no games. It's basically all of July and the whole first 3 weeks of August. There's like nothing going on with games. It's dead, okay? Once you get to like Black Myth Wukong and games like that, then all of a sudden it picks up for August, September, October, gets exciting again. During that lower time, all right, I am going to migrate my setup from my 10-year-old PC to my wife's PC that sits in that room over there completely unused. That PC has been sitting there now for several years, basically never used. When my wife first moved in with me, she was an avid PC gamer. She played games like Overwatch and a couple other things on there she really liked. But since then, she's migrated to console. She absolutely loves the Xbox Series S, and she's talking about getting long-term a PS5. She plays games in the living room. It's a better setup in the living room, by the way, than sitting there at the PC playing all day. So that PC is just sitting there unused. That PC is a 2017 PC, so it's at least 3+ more years more modern than this one was. It has Windows 10. I believe it has USB 3.1. It basically has better components. Now, exactly what is in there, I don't know yet. What I'm going to do is once we get through this right now, this big chunk of stuff that we're doing, right? Because right now we have Still Wakes the Deep, the Elden Ring DLC, right? Then we have Bison in Street Fighter 6, correct? We got all that stuff to get through, right? And then once we get through all of that stuff, all right, then once we get to the slower times of the summer, maybe mid to late July into early August, I'm going to set a time frame that I'm going to do a migration. I'm going to migrate all my shit, my setup from this PC to her PC. Likely I'll have 2 PCs sitting in here for a few days as I do this migration, switching back and forth between. I got to do a big backup of all my settings in OBS and load it into the new one. I got to migrate all my file systems over. I got to get all the components have to start working with this new PC. All right. And since the new PC undoubtedly is going to be stronger than mine, maybe I could actually eventually do better stuff. Could I actually do even better quality in my videos and streams? Yes, maybe. Could I do other things? I don't know. It depends. We won't know until we migrate over. The truth is, just having a modern operating system right out of the box, I'm going to be able to do things like use the Steam Deck that I've had, the Stream Deck that I've had donated by a fan. A fan donated that out of the blue without asking. I didn't even know what it was. They just sent it to me like 3+ years ago. Here, have a Stream Deck. Okay. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, this looks amazing. Buttons right here. I could push buttons and have it jump around and do cool stuff. That's neat. Oh, only works with Windows 10 and above. So I can't use it with my PC. And it's sat in its box unused for 3 years. Right? Just shit like that. Right? So that's going to be neat. That over the summer, it really is looking like we're going to have this project where maybe for like a week, the streams are going to be a little bit more sporadic because I'm going to be doing time migrating over to a new PC, doing all this work, setting it up and stuff like that. We'll probably have test streams where I actually like, oh, here's my first stream on it. We're going to set it up, try to get the settings working, troubleshoot shit that's going wrong because shit's going to go wrong. Half my setup probably ain't going to work. You have to understand something. All this stuff that I've been doing is hundreds of files. I have all these different backgrounds, or borders, I should say. All these different, transitions, these fucking, the leaderboard stuff and all that. It's all different files all over my PC. I have to find where all that shit is. And I have to find a way to transfer that from the one PC to the other, right? Likely what I'm going to do is use external hard drives. I'm going to have to use some of these external hard drives that I used to use to back up my files. And I'm going to use that to just toss all those files on one and then get it migrated and loaded right into the hard drive of the other, and go from there. Also, there's the whole idea that I don't know the hard drive system of my wife's PC. So I don't know if there's like a separate hard drive with good storage to store files on, like my videos and shit. I don't know. I don't even know. I have to look. I have to go boot that thing up, get logged into it, do a good reading of all the stats, right? Try to figure it all out and go from there. I may have to actually do some upgrades or I don't know. But definitely using that PC is a good idea. Number one, I'll have a more modern PC running on a modern operating system. It immediately solves a lot of problems. I can update all my shit and everything, right? Which I haven't been able to do on this PC in ages. Likely better capturing and all of that, right? And being able to use more modernized things. I'll be able to use the Stream Deck and things like that. Lady Charisma just said, if it has an NVIDIA GPU, you can use NVENC encoding, which uses the GPU to encode the stream. You could have even higher quality and use NVIDIA broadcast for more improvements. Exactly. Like, I don't know what's in there. Won't know till I actually get in there and I take a look at all the stats. But I think that's a better option than me sitting around like an idiot. Well, maybe this will be the year that a bunch of random shit doesn't come up and I have money to finally buy a new PC. I mean, it's been 3 straight years where I've been waiting and it still hasn't happened. At this point, I think I'd be an ignorant idiot to think that this will be the year with their magic rainbow will lead to the pot of gold and the fucking leprechaun will come out covered in 4-leaf clovers riding a unicorn saying, hey, Phil, here's some money for a PC. Right? Like, it just hasn't happened. Right? So I don't think it's going to happen. All right? So I think it's time. Now, here's the thing. Once I'm using a different PC, now we're in a whole different world. We can now see what is available, what is viable for certain various different things. PC gaming, among other things. I don't know. All right? But I just need to get off this PC. Not to say that this PC is dying and it's on its last legs. It looks like it's about to explode. That's not the case. But it's definitely got things going wrong with it. And I need to get that transitioned over. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I know. Dabhan says crazy in 3 years. In 3 years, there hasn't been enough time to be able to save up. Life is mental. I'm not kidding you. I keep being in a position where I'm like, okay, I'm going to have this extra money. We're going to be able to do it. And then something happens. It's happened like 10 times. It's fucking ridiculous at this point. And every time it's like, all right, we're going to get past this one. Don't worry. We're going to get past this one. Don't worry. And then it's on to the next bullshit thing. And you guys know about half of them. That's what I'll say. Like, for all the things you know about the tire, you know about the waste disposal, Now just double that, right? And each one of those occurrences is like a $500+ occurrence, essentially. Just multiply that by 2 to 3, and you'll know exactly what I actually go through here in my life. It's insane the amount of shit that I go through. But it's life. When you're an adult, you gotta face this shit. You know, it's gonna happen. But it just sucks that it's preventing me from getting to the next level of my content. I'm still running on outdated shit, right? Like right now, my preview window of my OBS is choppy as shit. Now, I know my video and stream don't chop, but the preview window is choppy for literally no reason. It's probably my PC setup, right? Like it's outdated, you know. I'm only using 36% of my CPU. Why is my video setup choppy in OBS right now? And I say to you guys, hey, is everything okay with the stream? Because it just looks so choppy. And you guys are like, yeah, everything's fine. I'm like, well, I wish I could see that on my own fucking setup, but I can't. It looks like shit. So anyway, yeah, so this is coming, inevitable, over the course of this summer, probably late July into early August. There will be some time when I'm not going to be able to do as regular streaming. Instead, I'm going to be doing this big migration from this PC, Cat's PC. We'll see what I'm going to do one day is go in there, boot it up, log in, do all the stats, like record all the stats of all the hardware. Here's the hardware. Let's see what capabilities possibly I could actually do with this sucker, right? Then it's going to be a matter of getting it over here, getting it working, and there's this big file migration, right? It's going to be a pain, but at this point, I got to get it done. I have to. I can't be using the same hardware for so long. I mean, it's going to be, seriously, we should have like a salute funeral, press F to pay respects for this PC. This is absolutely, positively, all right, the longest I've ever used a PC in my life. I've never had a PC for 10 years that I've used. That's insane. Just think about that. Back in the day, every few years you need to upgrade or use a new PC. I just used a PC for 10 years for work. 10 years straight. You tell me that you used a piece of equipment 10 years straight for your job and you never had to fucking upgrade it? Any piece of equipment. That's just wild that I was able to do that with this PC. And it's just hilarious because the day I bought it, I was told it was a lemon. No, this is actually the best PC I've ever had, by far. I'm so happy with its performance and the way that it worked for 10 years. It's sad that now I've got to move on, but you know, you got to at some point, you got to move on, right? So, that's right. Fancy, we're going to have a big funeral. We're going to party. The funeral send-off for Phil's 10-year beast of a PC that now has to go away. On to the future, right? It's funny, too, because, like, Cat's PC looks way better than this one. It's just got, like, a nice case and everything to it. Like, it's fancy looking. It's just so sleek and nice compared to mine. Mine's just, like, this big black beast of a fucking box that looks like shit. Remember, that case, the only reason I bought that case is because it was the one that everything that I wanted would fit in it. That's the only reason. Like, I don't like that case. That case is just a big black fucking... I don't even know how to explain it. It's ugly as shit. So, anyway, thank you, Abdullah, for telling me that. Okay, so, I guess we gotta now do shoutouts. It's already 12:24. Holy shit, I didn't realize how late it was. So let's jump into this. Now, one thing, guys, keep in mind, today's React Day. Any contributions I get right now on this podcast count towards the React show. And my goal is to get $50 of tips by the end of that show. So if you support this podcast right now, you're helping me out on my first stream, and you're taking a lot of the pressure off of that show, having to sit there and react to clips and hope that people support it, right? Some days for the React show, we get tons of support, and other days we get almost none. So it'd be great to get that early support now out of the way. If possible, if you like it, if you're interested, please support. I would really appreciate that. Okay. So, Kevin, re-upped his membership for 25 months this morning. Said, happy Father's Day. Hope you and your family have a good day. Thank you, Kevin. You as well. Bloomkit did a super chat and says, if you play Omori, I'd support it as much as I can. One of the greatest indie RPGs since Undertale. I've never heard of it. Someone mentioned it. Was it you? I remember the name is familiar, but no one has ever really mentioned it since then. So, I'm not sure if I'd be interested in it. I don't even know what it is. The Roman Victor, 6 months as a member, says, love your podcast. Thank you, Roman Victor. Appreciate that. Abdullah did a super chat and says, what's up, DSP? I'm at work right now in a police patrol vehicle watching you on my phone. I'm currently on the night shift. Well, I hope that you have a good shift tonight, a safe one. Wish you the best. And I'm glad that you enjoy the show. Gustavo just did a super chat. Would you do co-op streams with loyal viewers? I've already explained many, many times about this. I'm not really going to go into detail about it again. Sadly, whenever I try to do something online, it's ruined by trolls. I used to actually regularly do multiplayer with my viewers. I actually had an entire event set around this at the end of the year where I would do what would I call it? It was fan appreciation. It was like a fan appreciation week where all I did was play multiplayer with my fans. I took time to stop playing all my ongoing playthroughs and just play multiplayer with fans. It was around Christmas week. And I had to stop doing it because there's so many trolls would just show up and ruin it. They would come, take a spot, not play, fuck around, then get on mic, say something disgusting, right? And it was just like, well, if all I'm doing is giving a new opportunity for these trolls to get attention and or to try to ruin something for someone who genuinely wants to participate, then I'm not going to give them that opportunity. I would much rather not have the multiplayer at all than have it and have it be ruined by them and then everyone's disappointed. Better to not have it than just to be disappointed with how it turned out, right? So that's been always my mentality, you know? I mean, the times that I did, for example, last year, I did do fan lobbies in Street Fighter 6. Yes, trolls showed up, and I fucking spanked them all. Like, there were nights when I was just rotating, going around, and the trolls were so stupid with their insulting names and shit, and I was just completely demolish them in the fucking lobby. And then what ended up happening was people complained that it was too boring. Why is he doing this? We want ranked gameplay because when he plays these fucking people, they suck and he just beats their ass and it's not fun anymore. So basically I was like, well, there's really no point to doing those lobbies anymore, right? Because people are saying they're not enjoying them. I'll go back to doing the grind of ranked and everything. And then I did. So I tried it. Didn't work. Other games when I try it, it doesn't work. So no, I have no plans on doing that stuff. Maximum Turbo just did a super chat. What's your plan for you and Jordan and joint custody of the channel? You know what's funny is that AI has not come back. You noticed that, right? It hasn't been back at all. It was there for like 20 minutes that day. We all laughed at how silly it was, but it was also fascinating at the same time how sometimes it was pulling the AI summary correctly and other times it was atrociously wrong. Like saying that Jordan was the streamer. That's what it said. The AI actually said Jordan was the streamer of this channel. And we were like, what? Like, who on earth would have said that Jordan is the streamer of this channel in the chat? It doesn't make any sense. So now, of course, it's becoming a running meme that Jordan is actually my name or he owns the channel or something like that, right? I'm sure they'll continue to improve it and it'll be back. It'll be fun to mess around with it when it returns, but it hasn't been back in a few days. So thank you for that. Okay, now we're moving on to the tips. First tip of the day is a $2 tip from Lady Charisma. Let's see here. So, funny story. The videos I've sent for this week, I assume you mean for DSP React, were meant to be last week's videos. YouTube didn't post the comment last week for some reason. I would check to give you some context of the PC video. So that's the video it shows like a bunch of available PCs. Okay. I would check the first two tiers of PC. These would be all you need for what you need. Okay, so basically what it is a video with recommendations for a PC similar to what I would need to do my work. Thank you. The player 2 tier would be your ideal one. You can do everything you might want to do with it. Okay, we'll take a look at that today. Thank you for suggesting that. And I can confirm, yes, that video is in the playlist. I remember seeing it. I don't know why the videos weren't there yet last week, and I apologize for that, obviously. I also received this is so idiotic, I'm not even going to read this. I mean, it's a troll, and they're trying to get attention, and their comment is so idiotic, it's not even close to being correct, so I'm not going to entertain anything you said. There you go. Right into the void, where you belong. Okay, so guys, we still have a little bit of extra time. If anyone wants to tag me in the chat, and we'll do a little bit of Q&A, or if any other contributions come in, that would be greatly appreciated. Keep in mind, all these contributions are counting towards the first stream. So thank you in advance to anyone who supports. Particularly today, like I said, trying to hit 50 bucks in tips by the end of the React show would be great to get a head start on that. Thank you to Hair of the Dog for a super chat. Bloom Kid just did a super chat. Said, did you ever see Pan's Labyrinth? Yes, I did. Pan's Labyrinth is a fascinating movie until it ends, and the ending, I think, is awful. Right? I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I actually thought the ending is legitimately like bad and not enjoyable. So that's why overall I just didn't like the movie. Like I thought the entire movie till the end was good, and then it ended. I was like, wow, that was fucking shit. So I haven't even seen it since. I've seen it once, and the ending was so bad. I was like, I don't ever want to see that again. Congrats on restarting a playthrough of Skyrim, Tyrell. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I have no idea what Cat's PC has in it. We won't know till I look at it. Well, no clue till I give it a look. I mean, literally, I haven't turned it on in ages. I got to turn it on and hope it works. I can't imagine why it wouldn't, but I got to turn it on and hope it works, and then take a look at the stats and go from there. But that, like I said, I'll probably start doing that probably sometime in July. Once we get past these very busy weeks coming up of new content, once we get through the DLC of Elden Ring and there's some more chill time, that's probably when I'll ease into working on that. David Bowie is amazing in it. Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth. That's not the same Labyrinth. How dare you say that? Do I enjoy the Alien movies? Yes. The classics. What is Kat playing? Well, check out my podcast from a couple days ago, and I talk about a big segment where we talk about she's been playing Destiny 2, but she's running into some frustrations with it. For example, she keeps trying different things, and none of them seem to be like she's never played Destiny before. Okay? So for her, this is brand new, but there's no original story. They deleted the original campaign of Destiny 2 from the game. It doesn't exist. The earliest piece of content you can play, I think, is called the Shadowfall DLC, but that's like several seasons into the game. So she started playing later seasons first. Like she started doing, what is it called? The Lightfall or whatever. And she got to a certain point and it's like, so it's her first time ever playing Destiny 2. And they've got her in a situation, no respawning, in a room, fighting two bosses at once with the other group of enemies as well. And she's like, I'm just learning the basics and this is what they have me doing. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of stupid. I think the way they design these seasonal DLCs, they just completely assume you've done everything previous. So you're going in with no experience. They start you playing the new story. And it's like insane. I said to her, I said, what they're doing to you is the equivalent of like someone's never played a FromSoft game before. You start playing Elden Ring, and within the first 3 hours of playing, you're fighting Moog the Blood Prince. And you're just expected to beat him. Just do it. Beat him. Go ahead. What do you mean? I don't know what I'm doing yet. Too bad. Fuck you. So that's what they've done. So now what she's thinking of doing is to going back and playing the earliest content available in the game, which I think is Shadowfall. So she might go back and do that campaign first and see how that goes. You know, it's confusing the way they've lined it up. Essentially, they really have done it so that it's great for those who have played the game all along. But if you're just trying to jump into Destiny 2 middle here or late here, because that's 7 years, it's like hard as hell. Like, where do I start? Do I start with the latest one? Do I start with one from the middle? Do I go all the way back to the beginning? Am I going to know everything about the plot? Am I going to understand all the game mechanics? Because they just keep changing shit, too. The game mechanics have changed over the years. And, like, I'm watching her play, and I'm like, that wasn't in it when I played. That wasn't in it when I played. It's all this different shit now, you know? But, yeah, she's still playing through Destiny 2, jumping all around, trying to figure stuff out, and going from there. Chicon, what the hell are you talking about? I have no idea. He's putting up a quote about a sale near him in a school district of surplus computer systems. What in the holy hell does that have to do with me? Why are you tagging me? What are you talking about? Anyway. Um, all right. Last chance if you guys would like to toss a question my way. If I'm looking for a PC, which I already said I don't have money for, which is why I'm going to probably use my wife's, why would I be interested in a surplus computer sale from a school district near someone else? That would be like, I'm saying, here we go. Here's one of my famous food analogies. Man, I'm really hungry for a gourmet steak. Oh, I said it, right? A gourmet steak, but I know I can't afford a gourmet steak. So I'm just going to go to my refrigerator. I'm going to make a ham sandwich, right? But then someone in chat posts up a link to a place across the country where I can get a gourmet steak for a little bit cheaper. How exactly would that help me? Right? Like, exactly. Would I ever blame a viewer for not donating if they don't enjoy content in a certain day? No, in fact, I would argue that's exactly the way it should work. If you are someone who likes something that some content creator is particularly doing on a given day, right? Like, let's say someone's doing a particular game you love. So you come by that day and you decide, I'm specifically going to support during that stream. That's awesome. That's kind of the idea, especially for me. I'm a variety creator. And I know that I do enough variety that there's probably always something for everyone. Or hell, if there's not today, wait a day, come back tomorrow. There probably will be, right? I don't think that the expectation should ever be that there's going to be someone who's going to come back and support a content creator just on the sake of like merit that, oh, well, you're a hard worker here. I'll throw you a tip every day. No, I would say people come and support when there's specifically something going on that they really like, because that's their way of saying, thank you for this content. More of it, please. Here's my tip for you for putting out said content. Right? I think that's exactly how it should work. So if you don't really like the podcast, it's fine. Don't support the podcast. But if you like gameplay, support the gameplay. If you like the React show, support the React show. Right? It's all good. And by the way, in general, that does help me to figure out certain things people like more than others, correct? Like, if there's a particular game I'm playing, and for some reason people aren't showing up or supporting it at all, that lets me know that that's a game that isn't really working. Let's replace it with something better. If literally every single stream got steady levels of support, it would actually be hard to figure out what people like more than other stuff, correct? Right? So there you go. The Bloom says, I tip you half and half. I'll tip you sometimes in general to support, but I'll also tip more during a FromSoft game or a horror game. There you go. And that's much appreciated. And I think that that's what people should do. That makes a lot of sense to me, correct? It does. And it helps me. It helps you. You are supporting what you like. I'm getting an idea of what you like more. There you go. That goes hand in hand. I'll see you on DSP Reacts, Derek. So again, if you like the podcast, if you like the React stuff, please support those streams today. If you're someone who doesn't particularly like this podcast, or you don't like the React stuff and you don't follow me over there, well, come back tomorrow. I'll be doing gameplay all day. There you go. I don't know. Lucas says, what's your favorite Guillermo del Toro movie? Off the top of my head, I can't remember them. If you were to name like 10 Guillermo del Toro movies, I'd be like, oh, I've seen those, and these are the ones I like and don't, but I can't remember off the top of my head what he's done. Okay. All right, guys, last chance, because I do have to get over to the React channel and get the show going. So absolute last chance if you would like to toss me a question or get a shout out or anything like that. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Do I like to barbecue? I personally have never barbecued myself. Do I like barbecue food? Yes. Have I ever barbecued myself? No, I don't own a grill. Have I ever bought or worn a raccoon hat? No. I don't know why you would ask that, but no, I have not. Lilico, you're going to come by tonight? That sounds good. On the late stream? Ooh. Oh, shit. Almost knocked my mouse right off the table. Whoops. AI chat summary is on again. Is it really? Hold on. Reload. It is. It's back. People are saying goodbye to Derek, who is leaving the stream. Others are reacting to DSP's content, asking questions, and discussing past streams. It turned on again. When did this happen? Why did I have to... Oh, man, why did I have to turn on now? Because now we're going to the other channel. Shit. That would have been awesome if this was like a half an hour ago. Why'd they turn it on now? Shit. Damn. Because I gotta go. Oh, by the way, I just received a $20 tip. Someone says, thank you for your streams. Please leave me as anonymous. I shall. Thank you very much to an anonymous $20 tipper. That is very much appreciated. First animation of the day for a tip. Thank you, anonymous $20 tipper. That's a good head start for the React show, so I appreciate that. Excuse me. Great. All right, guys. Ask the AI who's streaming today. It said DSPGaming was streaming. People are saying goodbye to Derek, reacting to the streamer's content, asking him questions. The streamer's interacting with viewers, answering questions, and saying goodbye. There you go. That's what it says. But I gotta go. I wonder if this will be on the React channel, right? Let's find out. All right, guys, I gotta go. Thank you all. Great podcast today. If only this AI had popped up a little earlier, I would have appreciated that, but what are you gonna do? Thank you for watching. By the way, only a few days until summer here in the United States, FYI. We're almost in summertime. So the stream's going to go down. You're going to see a pop-up that says head over to DSP Reacts. Please do so. I will join you over there shortly. We'll get the stream rolling. And it's time for DSP versus the internet. It should be a very fun time. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you guys. And I will see you soon.